Mr. Bateman, I'd like to start with you. Since the end of August, how many times have you personally met with Secretary Sebelius?
I'm not sure. Probably once or twice.
And when was the last time you met with the Secretary?
I believe that it was during the shutdown. The Secretary had regular meetings with senior leadership. And
so you met one time in October?
I believe so.
So you've met one time with the, you're the Chief Information Officer, you've met one time in October with the Secretary. My understanding is you engaged a hacker to look at healthcare.gov, correct?
CMS asked us to help them with various things.
But you engaged a hacker to look at the system?
We engaged someone who's called an ethical hacker who was on my staff.
So you got an ethical hacker. When did they start their hacking?
It was during the shutdown.
So do you have any, and how long did it take him to complete his hacking exercise?
I think it's an ongoing activity, but he's actually based in Atlanta, and he spent a couple days.
And then he gave you a report. How many serious problems did he find?
I don't know if I'd call them serious. I think that there were something like 7 to 10 items on that report.
So you had 7 to 10 items of hacking, some of which you don't believe are serious, but some are obviously serious. What percentage of those have been fully rectified?
I turned those over to CMS for their review. Some actually weren't systems issues. They included things like physical security as well. So
you have no follow-up? You have no idea what percentage of those hacking incidents were rectified?
I believe CMS got back to my staff last week and said the majority of those had been remediated.
You don't know what percentage? It's not 100%.
I don't believe it's 100 yet, no.
So you shared that with CMS. Did you share that with Secretary Sebelius?
I have not.
You're the Chief Information Officer for the Health and Human Services.
These are fairly technical items. The appropriate place to share them is with the system owner.
But it's not safe and secure, and I guess that's the fundamental concern is even after the October launch, you're the Chief Information Officer. You get a hacker who in a couple days finds probably 10 or so problems and challenges. It's that easy to get in and hack the information. That's the concern. Mr. Powner, is this ready? Is it, following upon Mr. McHenry's question, is the site, in your opinion, currently as safe and secure as an online banking site?
I would have to look and assess the security, and all that stuff that MITRE did and the authority to operate is preliminary because it was on. I mean, MITRE said that they didn't test the interfaces, that interface testing needed to occur. So all that stuff that's preliminary raised issues. But
would you put your information in there?
I would have to see what the security testing and assessment has been since then.
But you're
before
looking
I was
at it.
Comfortable.
So
I haven't seen it yet, so we're going to look at it. But
so the answer is not yet yes. Mr. Chow, would you put all your personal information about you and your loved ones in it?
Yes. In fact, I've recommended my sister, who is unemployed right now, to actually apply.
Did she successfully register? Sign up?
I haven't talked to her lately. She's been out of the country.
Interesting. And how many you have this report then for Mr. Bateman about the hackers report?
I do not personally, but as I mentioned earlier, there are security teams in place, including permanent security staff under the Chief Information Security Officer that coordinates with Frank's.
And Mr. Chairman, this is something we obviously have to follow up on. Mr. Park, you're a very bright and talented person. The federal government's lucky to have somebody of your caliber engaged in this process. And it actually gives me comfort that you're looking at this and spending some time in it. But I have a fundamental question that I want to ask you. Have you ever shopped on Amazon.com?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever shopped on eBay.com?
Actually, no.
Oh, we're going to have to change. We'll work with you on that one.
As a Californian, I'm personally
let's go back to the Amazon experience.
My wife has.
The Amazon experience. When you put something in your shopping cart, is that considered a sale?
No.
Thank you. I yield back.
Would the gentleman yield?
Sure.
Mr. Chow, you've been fairly defensive about things being out of context, so I'm going to ask unanimous consent that the CMS document of September 3rd, 2013, the memorandum be placed in the record in its entirety. But before I do so, well, without objection, so ordered, but I want to make something clear. We had previously redacted information. Is there anything in that memo that you believe needs to be redacted? Because Otherwise, we'll put it in its entirety, so there's no question about that.
I would have to review it.